Welcome to Adulting with Joyce Pring. Watch the full video of this episode on my channel, www.youtube.com/JoycePringTV. And if you want to level up your adulting game, check out joycepring.com/collections for my digital products and courses.
Okay, let's talk about the IDC because our workshop was all about the woke generation. And madami sa mga woke nga, as you mentioned in your talk, are the Gen Zs and some of the millennials. Now, I really love the way that you framed and talked about why they became woke and what happened, kung bakit ganun yung naging pananaw nila sa life. So can you tell us more about your understanding from your research of why there are so many young people now who subscribe to the woke ideology?
Well, when you say kasi woke, for those who don't understand it, yung talagang definition nun, of course, it comes from the word na awake. You're aware of what's happening. Basically, you're aware of social injustices. And nag-start yan, matagal na. It didn't start, last year or 2 years ago or during the pandemic. It started, I think, if I'm not mistaken, around 2014. And it started because of what's happening in the US, yung mga black people being not receiving the justice treatment or the just treatment and those things. So there's this rapper that composed this song, and in that song there's a line, "Stay woke." So stay woke with what's happening to us. They're still abusing us, blah blah blah, and all of those things. And since there were a lot of killings happening between police killing black people and accusing them of crime that they didn't do. So mas naging aware sila that let's stay woke with all of these things. So doon nag-start yon. And because of that, other groups took advantage of it. Not just the black people, but even Asians, even other marginalized group, the poor people, LGBT group, lahat na parang if ever they're experiencing social injustice, they will say, let's stay woke. And even in our country, pag may nakita sila na, oh, you're showing injustice to these people or to this tribe in this place, hindi mo pinapakitaan ng fair treatment, so they will say, let's stay woke. But basically, the reason why they're like that, and some people right now, especially the older generation, they feel like kaya sila ganyan because of only the negative things. Ang nakikita lang nila negative things. They're they complain a lot. They do all of these things. But in reality, if you study them, if you hear them out, one of the reasons why they're like that is they're hurting. But there's natin, Joyce, but they're hurting. When you say they're hurting, majority of them, the Gen Z and the millennials, nung 2019, kaya yung woke ngayon lang siya mas naging popular kasi nung 2019, maraming promises silang na-receive from the government, from different authorities. The promise was like this: we will have a better country, a better society, you will have an improved nation, you will get good jobs, the economy will go up in the next few years. Pero what happened after 2019? The pandemic happened, 2020, di ba? So when the pandemic happened, some of them, they lost their jobs. Some of them, they couldn't find work because maybe ang course nila, HRM, or yung course nila, it was affected greatly by the pandemic. And some of them, they saw how devastated their country or their nation was because of the pandemic, and they blamed the leaders. So because of that, they're hurting. So sabi nila, akala ko ba may mga promises kayo na ganito? Bakit you weren't able to fulfill it? So these people are hurting. That's why they're like that. So we should understand it in that lens first, that they're hurting. They're not just hurting. They're tired with all the broken promises. Alam natin yun, Joyce, di ba? Ang dami mga nagpa-promise, tapos binibreak lang yung mga promises na yun. So they're tired with those kinds of promises. And that's why they cancel. Kasi nga, na-disillusion na sila ng authorities na I thought ganito yung authority ko pero hindi pala ganyan. So ayoko na. I don't want to respect that authority. I don't want to join that group. And they're very aggressive because they want to solve the problems that they're seeing, the injustices that they're seeing. They're not just aggressive. Some of them, they're close-minded to what they believe in. Mahirap i-counter. If ever they believe in something, they're very close-minded. Na ito talaga, I see this injustice, kailangan ma-solve to. But not just those things na, okay, kasi negative sometimes, pag inisip mo close-minded, parang ang negative naman ito. But also, they're compassionate. Kasi if, for example, you are hurting or you experience injustice, you post it on Facebook, pansinin mo, these people who are Gen Z, millennial, who are kind of in the woke area, they are very compassionate. They try to understand you. They're not just compassionate, they're seeking. They want to be part of a community. They are energetic because they're young and they are very determined. So these are the 10 characteristics that I've seen this generation, specifically those who are woke.
You know, Pastor Marty, I agree completely with everything that you said, but I think a lot of us have a difficult time seeing the woke generation that way. Because
Mm.
most of them, the way that they present themselves online, talagang grabe. Grabe
Uh,
yung pag-bash, grabe yung pag-cancel nila, grabe yung pag-demean nila sa mga tao. And it feels as if they're constantly out to witch hunt people that they don't agree with. Now,
yeah.
hearing the way that you framed how they are, it makes me feel more compassionate towards them and understand them nga from a different perspective. Pero paano tayo mga constantly dealing with them? Yung mga naka-experience na ng bashing and canceling, how do you become more willing to connect with them? Why is it so important, you think, to connect with the woke generation, especially the young generation?
Well, it's very important to connect with them kasi nga they need guidance to solve the problems that they want to solve.
Mhm.
Usually kasi if we're passionate over something, I don't know if you've experienced that, but I've experienced this nung medyo bata-bata pa ako. Di ba pag passionate ka over something, sometimes you think your decision is right, pero you don't see the other angles and you don't see the consequences. For example, some people, because they feel that there's an injustice. Or ito lang, practical example, that's what's happening in the US. It's not happening in the Philippines, but it's happening in the US. So the Black Lives Matter was very popular there. It's very, until now, it's very popular. And tama naman, they're fighting for their rights. But some of the Black people in that community, because the government started supporting or leaning towards them, na feel ng white people ngayon na sila na yung marginalized. Sila na
Mhm.
yung persecuted. Sila na yung nakaka-experience ng injustice. Now they're fighting back. So what's happening is, nung una, they feel like, oh, just protect our rights. Protect our rights. Kasi yung bias ka sa rights mo eh. Without thinking na once gawin mo yon, ang tendency is masyadong magfo-focus sa'yo na ang nangyayari, magre-reverse na. The other party na ang makaka-experience ng injustice. So there is a better way to do that para hindi maging bias. So we need to guide them, the young people. And also, kaya nga, for example, di ba, a lot of young people ngayon, they cancel online. Kasi they are very vocal online eh. And the result of that, I know of some friends that I have, na because they're very vocal online, nawalan sila ng mga friends na close nila before. Kasi magkaiba silang perspective eh. So pwede naman sana maiwasan yun eh. There's a better way of trying to understand one another. Kaya nga as tayo, we need to help them. We need to listen to them. We need to see them in the eyes na hindi sila, not in the negative way na okay, they always cancel, they always do this, ayoko na silang kausapin, hindi sila makikinig. We need to see na they have a cause that they want to fight for. And sometimes, or a lot of times, valid naman yung cause na yon. Kaya kailangan nating pakinggan sila. We need to
Mm.
listen to them. We need to try to understand them. We need to put our shoes dun sa kanila para makita na, oh, kaya ka pala ganyan. Where are you coming from? What's your hurt? What happened to you? Who are your friends that are hurting? Kasi once we do that, there's a better way of guiding them. There's a better way of helping them solve their problems. And sila rin,
Mm.
magkakaroon ng awakening, right?
Yeah. I like what you said. Syempre, especially when you were just starting out with that answer, we all experience that. I mean, I'm turning 30 this year, and when I was 18 studying in UP, I was also that passionate about politics. And yung College of Fine Arts pa, kami pa yung nag-paint sa floor ng AS, sa tapat ng AS, para lang
Talaga?
dahil may budget cut, 'di ba? So kami yung tapos kami yung nakibaka dun sa harap ng AS, nag-ano kami. So I see where you're coming from. Wherein if we start to look at the younger generation now, and especially tayo mga old, not naman too
Na,
much
don't na
older.
to.
Kami mga ate at kuya niyo, wow. We can actually empathize with them because we have gone through that experiences, those experiences in our lives as well.
That's it for this episode of Adulting with Joyce Pring. If you liked this podcast, please don't forget to use the hashtag Adulting with Joyce Pring and also check out www.joycepring.com for the show notes and tag me on social media with you know it at Joyce Pring. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Paalam!